Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Hiking Adventures with Trevor. Before we get started today on the topic, I would just like to thank all of the people that have been subscribing to my channel lately. It's really greatly appreciated. It really helps me out a lot. And if you are a viewer of my YouTube videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. Costs you nothing, takes you no time, and it really helps me out. So that out of the way, today we're going to talk about all of the crap that we take on multi-day hikes that we don't actually need. We're going to focus on three things that I'm sure you're all guilty of taking way too much of through on your multi-day hikes. The first thing we're going to look at is too much food. I don't know about you, but I go on a 3-day hike or something and I take enough food for about 10 days. I take 6 or 7 dinners and 4 or 5 lunches, and so I've got choice, and I take way too much food, and I always come home with probably half of what I take. So you're doing yourself a real disservice by doing that. You've got to carry all that food, and if it's over a multi-day hike and it's quite a tough hike up and down mountains and things, that extra weight really takes its toll on your body. So the simplest and easiest way to stop taking too much food is start to take notice of what you bring home from your hike. So before you go away on your hike, you pack your food. I'd make a list of the food that you pack into your backpack, and when you come home, have a look at what you got left and what you've brought home. So you've been carrying that food for no reason at all. Maybe to feel a little bit secure, like, oh, what happens if I run out of food? Well, if you're on a 3-day hike, even if you ran out of food, as long as you got water and maybe a bag of trail mix, you're going to survive totally okay. So don't be worried about running out of food. So as I said, make a list of what you put in your backpack, and then check that list off when you get home and see what food you didn't take or didn't eat. If you're like me, I tend to probably not really stop and cook myself a lunch. I tend to snack and nibble through the day and just have dinner at night. So I've been lately not taking lunches with me, or might take one on a 3 or 4 day hike, just in case I am really hungry. Otherwise, I'll snack on cheese and crackers or trail mix or whatever I may have in my backpack. So that's one thing, food. The second thing a lot of people carry way too much of is first aid. Yes, we all need to take first aid. You're really stupid if you don't have a first aid kit if you're going on multi-day hikes. However, just like with the food, you don't need to have enough medical supplies to supply a hospital for a month. I used to, originally my first aid kit, it weighed a ton. I don't know what it weighed, but it was quite heavy. And I had, 4 or 5 compression bandages, I had Band-Aids, I had micropore tape, I had this, I had that. I had so many things in there that I really, really didn't need. So once again, I look at what I've got in my first aid kit, I make a note of it, and I think, well, what do I really, really need? If I get bit by a snake, I probably need a compression bandage, so I'll put one, not 4, but 1 in my first aid kit. If I get blisters, I need to have a blister pack with me. So that's probably your most important thing. That's probably the most common thing you might come across when it comes to first aid, and that is you got blisters. And so I have my blister pack in there. So I have 3 different types of dressings and bandages for blister. In fact, I won't do it today, but I might actually do a little video on how to treat blisters in their different states, whether it's just a little fully functional blister, or if it's burst, or if it's the skin's come off. I'll do a little video on that a bit later down the track. It might be handy to put out there. So first aid kit. I got my blister pack, I got a compression bandage, I might have a couple of Panadol in there if I get a headache. I might have a very small little tube of antiseptic cream for cuts, and I might have a couple of extra little Band-Aids, and that's about it. I don't need any more. So once again, have a look at your kit and see what you can leave out and still feel comfortable with. And the third most probably common thing that people tend to overpack is clothes. You go on a 3-day hike and you might have 6 shirts and 4 pairs of pants and so on and so on. It's not needed. If I go on a 3 or 4 day hike, well, actually I've got a trip coming up in 4 weeks' time. I'm going to Tassie on a 4-day hike. I'm going to take 2 pairs of pants. I'm going to take a short pair and a long pair. I'm going to take 2 shirts. That's it. A long sleeve one and a short sleeve one. I'm going to take a mid-layer, like very light fleece. And all I'm probably going to do then is have my rain gear, rain pants and a rain jacket. And that's it. Oh, well, underwear. One luxury I do keep, I like to have a change of underwear every day, regardless if I've had a shower. I just like clean undies. So I'll take 4 pairs of undies with me on that trip, 2 shirts, 2 pants, and I'll be wearing one of those shirts and one of those pants. So I will only have 1 pair of pants, 1 shirt, some undies, and my rain gear in my backpack. And that's it. You don't need extras. You don't need extra shirts. If you get one shirt, it's dirty. Well, actually, what I do is, like the shirt I got on, this is actually a thermal, 150 gram weight thermal. I'll probably take a shirt like this and a long sleeve. If it does get cold, I'll put both of those shirts on, and then my mid-layer, and then my rain jacket, and that should keep me well and truly warm. And that's all I'm taking. So once again, same with food. If you're going on multi-day hikes, pack your bag, but when you come home, have a look at what clothes you actually used on that trip. Did you take extra clothes you really didn't need? If you did, well, stop taking them. It's just added weight to your pack. Extra food, extra first aid, extra clothes, all of that adds up. It can turn into kilos and kilos of weight. And, last thing you need is more weight on your back when you're climbing up mountains for 3 or 4 days. Anyway, people, 3 little tips, maybe something to look at for your next multi-day hike. I don't want to make this video too long, so we'll just leave it at that. The 3 things again: check what food you're taking, your first aid kit and your clothes, and just, on your next hike, when you come home, just really have a look at what you actually used and what you didn't. And then ask yourself those questions. Can I take less? And probably more times than not, the answer is yes. So have a think about that and have a look at how you can cull the weight out of your backpack by minimizing on those 3 things. On that note, people, thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so right now. Click that little button, and please tell your hiking friends about my channel. I'm trying to get it out there. I've got some really exciting videos coming up in the future. And as I mentioned before, I'm going away on a 4-day hike down in Tassie in 4 weeks' time. So I'll be taking lots of video of that. So I'll have some great sights and scenery for you to view in future videos coming up. On that note, see ya. Hopefully I'll see you out in the trail someday. And happy hiking. Bye.